Hey guys, what's up? I'm Shitich, and today I want to talk about how you actually progress in the spiritual path, in your path of transformation, in your path of ascendance, in your path of letting go. So, I'm going to save you from a lot of frustration, from a lot of trouble, and from a lot of anger, despair, and grief in your journey. I'm going to give you some of my life examples so that you understand what I'm talking about. So, as you start on your spiritual journey, there are always two aspects of what happened or how growth happens in the spiritual journey. So, the first aspect is ascendance, and the second aspect is descendance. Okay, so there's ascendance and there is descendance. Well, if we actually look on absolute levels, there is only ascendance, there is no descendance, but there is an appearance of descendance. So, the spiritual journey, your growth is never like this, it is always like this. So, what I mean by that is you expand, and then as you expand, you gain some qualities, you raise your vibration, your baseline increases, you become more free, you become more energetic, you become more comfortable in your own skin. In social situations, you become more confident, you become more expressive. And then, as you are expanding, there comes a time where all of it just goes away. And then all of the growth that you have made, all of the progress that you have made just goes away. And then you're left with nothing. You're left with this empty, kind of stuck state where you feel like, is my progress gone? I was just able to do these things. I was just able to feel this way. I was just able to act this way. I was just able to perceive consciousness or reality this way. I was in this higher state of consciousness, and what happened? Now I cannot perceive the same. Now I cannot talk the same. Now I cannot feel the same. So, what's going on? Am I doing something wrong? Was the progress just a delusion? Was the progress just a state of my ego? Was my ego kind of deluding my progress? So, all of these thoughts might come up. And the only answer to this is that, let me give you another example. When you work out, you're working out and then you tear certain kind of micro fibers in your muscles, and then they require rest. When you do the same kind of exercise again, you hit the same muscle groups again, you might feel certain kind of fatigue. Okay, because those muscle fibers are actually growing back. Those muscle fibers are regenerating. So the same happens with your spirit, the same happens with your body, the same happens with your mind. As you grow, you are kind of tearing certain kind of microfibers in your system, in your nervous system, and then you will require time for it to come back, for it to regrow. And as it regrows, then you don't have to worry about it. Then it becomes natural. Okay, first you did certain kind of practices, you put certain kind of effort to expand. Okay, you did something to expand, to take on a new behavior set. But then as you have expanded, now your body needs time to recover. As you have expanded, you have torn certain kind of microfibers in your system. Okay, and then as you have torn certain kind of microfibers, now your body needs rest, your body needs recalibration, and that's why you feel loss of motivation, you feel loss of energy, you feel uncomfortable in your own skin, you feel frustration. What I want you guys to do, if you want to travel smoothly through this journey, is that accept your state where you are not on your best game. Because when you attach your identity with performing at a higher level, I'm just going to use simple words. It's not really performance, but when you are actually attached and feel good about yourself, when you are operating on a higher state of consciousness, and then that is taken away and now you feel frustrated, you're actually reinforcing that, the state of lower energy or the state of lower being is something to be scared from, something to be scared about. Okay? Your body is going to remember this. And then it's not going to go out of your memory. Your body will still expect you to fall back into that state. Because you haven't accepted it. You are resisting it. You are getting frustrated. You are in fear. That what if this continues? What if I can never grow? What if I always stay here? So what you are doing is you are actually telling your nervous system, you're telling your brain that this thing is something to be scared about. This thing is something I am scared of. Okay? And then when your body thinks that you're scared of something, it feels that it makes a memory. And then it fears going back there. And whatever it fears, you have to experience it again. So that you finally let go of that fear. And then when you let go of that fear, then that shit doesn't happen again. Okay? So, whenever that state comes back to you, what you need to do is actually accept it. Accept it completely, love that state. And then this is how you build true self-esteem. This is how you build true ascendance. When you accept your game whenever you are at a lower state, you completely accept it as a part of yourself, and then you still choose to show up in public, you still choose to express from that state. You do not overexert yourself, you be authentic. You do not lose your authenticity. You're not scared to show this lower aspect of yourself to other people. Then what happens is that kind of fills some kind of empty space within you that heals that area. And as that area is healed, then you can move on to the higher states. Okay? Then you can move on to the higher states, and then you actually make the permanent shift in your baseline. Because you cannot shift permanently if you are worried about falling back down. You will be always worried about falling back down. If you fall back down and then you are scared, you get frustrated, you feel ashamed, you doubt yourself, then even as you make more progress, you're always worried about falling down. So the best way is to accept your flaws. Okay? The best way is to accept the way you don't want to act, and then still act that way. I don't want to act like this. This is so low vibrational. This is gonna kill my charisma. This is not the way I want to act. This is not the highest way I can act. But if that is the only option I've got, I'm still gonna act this way. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna judge myself. Okay? And then as you do this, your ascendance become very smooth, and then the journey just becomes faster. You just transmute all of these bad, traumatic, negative blockages and emotions really fast. And then also you fall into the state of surrender. You become closer to finding oneness. Not only you heal, not only you let go, not only you raise your self-esteem, but you also ascend. You also spiritually ascend, you also raise your consciousness, you also get in a state that is so close and so receptive to finally recognize what non duality is, what oneness is. So your journey will be always like this. You will grow a bit, and then you'll see that you're not able to sustain this growth, and then you give up. You give up, okay? You don't try to hold it. If it's taking effort to hold that state, you give up. You give up all your efforts, and then you drop into this lazy kind of, nihilistic view, or I've given up kind of view. And then you lay back, and then you let life happen, and then you regain some energy, you come back, and then you go back up, okay? And then you fall back down, and then you give up again. You lay back, and then you start climbing the ladder again. So it's like this. Kind of fall down, but then you raise more. Kind of fall down, but then you raise more. And then that is how the journey actually progresses in the spiritual path. Also, you might notice that whenever you are falling back down, a lot of your egoic or unconscious patterns start to rise up. It is because your body now trusts that your baseline is high enough that now it can give you more of some deep-rooted trauma. Your body did not feel that you were capable of handling those emotions before. That's why you were not aware of those impurities that you had within yourself. But as your body kind of trusts that now you have ascended more, now you're more stronger, it kind of feels ready to unleash that dark side, that darkness out. Now your body thinks that you're strong. So you can handle more unconsciousness, you can handle more pain, you can handle more suffering. And then it kind of brings up some more egoic conditioning. And then you might feel that, oh fuck, I thought that I worked so much on my ego, I worked so much on my shadow, and then I'm seeing more shadow coming up, I'm seeing more egoic reactions. So, am I on the right path? But you are definitely on the right path, because the deeper you go and the stronger you get, the more light that you have, the body trusts you to deal with more darkness. Yeah, that is all it for today.